So, moving forward, our next section is 1.7, and it's called numbers besides integers. Um, so if you think about a number line, and we can put integers on here, but even though you only have, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, positive, -1, -2, -3, -4. You have gaps in between each of these numbers. They're not right on top of each other. And the reason you have that is because there's an infinite amount of numbers even between 0 and 1. We could just keep making up new and new and new fractions and decimals. So the numbers besides integers that would go on here are your fractions. We talked about 1/2 going right here. 1 and 1/2 there, and if we could expand this a little bit, there'd be 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. So I mean, you can get smaller and smaller and smaller, closer to 0, but it's still going to be more and more and more fractions that can go in between there. So one thing when we're dealing with fractions is we want to be able to make a fraction that's equivalent to another fraction, and that word equivalent just means equal to. So if we had the fraction 2/3, we want to think of some other fractions that are the same as that. One way you can do that is you could draw a picture of it. So if I had like a strip of paper and I split it up into thirds, something like that, and then say I had like 2 of them colored in, how could I make another representation that's just like that? Well, if I had the thirds again, I could take these and I could just split them in half. Now, if these were all still colored in, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you don't forget to split this last part. Also, split all of them evenly. But you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts in whole, and 4 of them that are colored in. So that's 4/6. Okay, so 2/3 is equal to 4/6. And you could do that again, and you could have bigger numbers. So say we had it like that, our thirds again. Say we don't want to split it in half, we want to split it into thirds. Okay, split it like this. Okay, now how many parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now we have ninths. And if we colored in all the ones that we were supposed to have equal, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them colored in, so they're equal. That would be 6/9. And that's how you find equivalent fractions. Another way to do it is to take your number and then multiply the top and the bottom by some number. So 2/3 times top and bottom by 3 is going to be equal to, sorry, I got out of hand, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Same thing, 6/9. So say we have a situation where we're adding fractions. You should always write your fraction in the lowest terms. All right, so let's just go ahead and do this one. 2/3 and 1/6. Well, we know from before that 2/3 can be written as a sixth, and that was 4/6, right? So now we have 4/6 plus 1/6. We have to have common denominators when we're adding fractions. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5/6. Now this is in the lowest terms, so we don't have to. But say we had something that was a lot bigger. Maybe we had something over 24. I can't write down there. 24. So like maybe 12 24ths. Okay. What you have to do is think about what can we divide both of these by evenly. The first thing I would come to is 2, so let's divide both of them by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. But that's not the lowest either. We can keep going. So we're going to divide this by 2, this by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, so now we're going to do it again. We just keep doing this until we get down to the lowest terms. 3 divided by 3 now is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 12 24ths is equal to 1/2. If you ever had 12/24, you would want to get it down to the lowest terms, which is 1/2. Now say you had a situation where I gave you a number line, but I gave you some parts, but not all. Okay, so I gave you 1 and 2, but I gave you some missing parts in here. So how are you to figure that out? What you would want to do is, if you know where 1 and 2 is, you're going to figure out how many parts are there in between 1 and 2. So this is one whole. So if I was going to split this up, it'd be 1, 2, 3 parts. So each of these 3 parts is 1/3. So this is 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3, that's supposed to be 1 and 2/3, 2, that'd be 2 and 1/3, and then 2 and 2/3. The one before 1 would be just 2/3. Getting out of hand with those threes.